Yo guys, what is up? Moxsy here with another episode of Moxsy's Bar. We are back every Sunday live on Twitch at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we have a very special guest for you guys. We have Lazydata here, who is a long-standing member of the Borderlands community, an incredible YouTuber, streamer, has a lot of cool stuff going on his channel and his Twitch, so I'll link both of those things below. Guys, another episode of the podcast. We got a lot of things to talk about today, but first, Lazydata, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm great, thanks. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast. How are you?
Of course, my pleasure. I am doing well today. Hopefully everything sounds crisp and clean in the audio. I was making sure of that beforehand. But today, guys, we have a few things to talk about. We got the Malawan takedown to talk about with Lazy. We got
Wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. I think I saw you tweet that like you wanted it to be released like now.
Yeah, it's a raid. I need it.
Have you I know that you loved like doing all the raid bosses and the invincible bosses in Borderlands 2 and like coming up with crazy things for that. Or did you miss that in Borderlands 3? Like were you upset that wasn't there or were you fine with that?
I was hoping there was going to be, something unlocked. But we got, story bosses as our, boss end games. That's the equivalent of bunker.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting for this. I would say patiently, but probably patiently.
I am very excited for it. I was honestly, I've talked about this before, but I was kind of shocked that we didn't get like a Terramorphous, like a level 50, like hit level 50 kind of like
there's nothing.
boss.
There's no end game boss content.
I didn't understand the thinking there, but oh well.
Well, we got mobbing and Slaughter Shaft is fun, so
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So I do want to bring this up. So if you guys haven't seen, this is the most recent hotfix. Real quick, the biggest thing about this hotfix is that nothing really happened besides lowering the chance for haunted enemies outside of Heck.
did that even do much?
I haven't noticed that. I genuinely
I'm
haven't.
still permanently cryoed, so
Yeah, I honestly haven't noticed any difference with that. I don't know what the decrease was, but I like when it first started playing and that was on, I like had to save and quit like a few times and made sure that like I was having all like the hot fixes apply, and I was like, all right, well, that really I physically don't notice the difference. But besides that, Bloody Harvest is like practically. I mean, it's not practically over, but I feel like it's gonna be a lot less of a big thing now that we have the Malawan takedown. It's still going to December 5th, which is kind of wild.
some people want the gas calls that they're still farming up.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think, I don't know. I said that it would probably be happening. Do you think there's going to be like skulls and terrified enemies in the Malawan takedown, or?
I really hope they lock it off. I do not want a haunted raid.
Yeah,
But if there is a haunted raid, it'll add to the day one challenge, I guess. So
Yeah, I'm a little torn on that. So I think one, like the skulls, like most of the times if I go down, like now with like
Easy
the
tech.
builds we've come out, they're one easy way to get back up, but the times that I go down are from skulls. Like I just not paying attention to them.
How many times have you been in a tough fight? You'll be able to slide away, but a badass skull has frozen you, and you can't slide.
Just one skull gets me. So annoying. But so what I was thinking would be kind of cool. So they have the Malawan takedown is going to be a permanent thing. So I was thinking it'd be kind of cool if like just for like 2 weeks you could get haunted gear, and then that gear was like practically like exclusive kind of. Like
Haunted raid gear.
Yeah, that if you didn't play like the first 2 weeks basically, you wouldn't be able to get that kind of gear. That's like a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks is a small window.
Yeah. It is a very small window. But yeah, so what are your? We've now been playing the Bloody Harvest event for a while. What'd you think of it overall? Did it meet your expectations for a free like add-on, or
I like it. Overall, it's, as you say, it's a free event. It's similar to the Headhunters the Borderlands 2 had. Sad that it's not like a permanent map that you can't, go to. Obviously, it's not perfect. Skulls being active all the time, but I do enjoy the mobbing run of Heck Hole, and I do enjoy the Haunt boss fight. I think the boss fight's fun. The immunity phases are controlled by the player of how long they are. You're not waiting for animations.
Yeah, that
You
was a
can
big.
snap right through them. So I think overall it's a great little event, and I'm excited for more, especially with various changes based on feedback. So
I agree. I was originally kind of disappointed with it just because like I got to the end and I was like, this is it. But I didn't at
at
that
40 minutes, right?
at that time I didn't realize like that there was like all the terror anointments going on and like I guess just the terror anointments going on.
I'll
um,
always take Mali 1 mobbing. It's more Mali 1 mobbing, and that's the most fun in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
I do like Malawan mobbing, which is exciting because we're getting Malawan DLC. That's a good segue into one of the questions I wanted to ask you though. Is so we got Hunt with immunity phases and kind of a new like boss mechanic basically where you had to like destroy the things and it was as you said like a player controlled immunity. You didn't have to like wait for like Tyrene to like fly off the map and
Rampage
fly
up.
back. Yeah. So we're getting our first ever like in Borderlands 3 invincible boss and the invincible bosses in Borderlands 2 were some of them
Nova.
so yeah, some of them were just like kind of like straight damage tests with some mechanics, some had
Nova. Just Novas.
novas.
Just Novas.
Are you are you hoping that the invincible boss has some like immune mechanics or like
Well,
immune phases things or are you like kind of hoping it's just like straight like kind of like a Terramorphous fight almost?
I think you can do a good fight without immunity. Because I, for one, very much dislike immunity phases, and if there is a chance that they won't have any, I would go with that. Um, Very good sign was Hatterax in the Fight for Sanctuary DLC, Raid Boss made this year.
Oh yeah, that
And
was great. I forgot
that
about that.
Hatterax was one of my. There's a few issues with it, but that was mainly on Slag. Slag's gone now, thankfully. So Hatterax was a brilliant fight. No immunity phases, mechanic focused. You got rewarded for doing it quick and damage phases and all sorts of stuff without saying, "Hey, you're not allowed to do any more damage now." So if we're going off of Hatterax, I am hopeful, but then again, we don't know until we're running through the Mali 1 takedown and we fight it.
Yeah, exactly. There was like a small clip of him, Wotan, and the
Yeah, we
in
got
the
a very,
show.
very short clip, which says a bit, but not much, because we don't know how long the fight's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that it's hard. Like I know I said I'm running it solo, and I've got my like build down for what I'm gonna try solo, but part of me like hopes that like I mean I want to be able to do it solo, but part of me hopes that I really struggle with it.
Well, they said, not only are they releasing the new content that's geared for 4 players, they're also releasing a new difficulty level, Mayhem 4. So not
Yeah.
only are we fighting new content that we haven't heard of, that we haven't, encountered, that is geared for 4 players, we're also, everything is now harder because of the new Mayhem. So
Do
that'll
you
be interesting to contend with.
do you think we're just gonna be able to turn on Mayhem 4 just like the other Mayhem modes, just switch right to
Yes.
it?
I think they'll let people just jump into it. Tannis might have a, oh hey, I rigged up the machine, you can now go even more insane. Tannis might
Yeah.
have this line, but I think he'll be pretty instant, but we don't know.
And another thing I was gonna ask you is, do you think Mayhem 4 like they're talking about it like it's gonna get harder, but do you think it's gonna like do you think we're getting like new modifiers with that? I mean, obviously
I
all of this is speculation, but I'm curious and like what do you think if we're gonna get like new modifiers if they've kind of learned from the complaints or if like a revamp of the Mayhem mode isn't gonna come till like Mayhem like 2.0 or something like that.
I think they already hinted at a revamp later down the line in a blog post a few weeks ago. Mayhem 4 seems more like they were always going to do this. I would expect just like more crazy Mayhem 3. So who knows what they'll do with the modifiers, you know? Hopefully Bullet Reflection gets deleted. But because at the moment, Mayhem 3, it feels a little bit, you know, you can either roll modifiers that make you do nothing or modifiers that make it easier than Mayhem 0. I hope Mayhem 4 is actually consistent.
Yeah.
Consistent difficulty is what I think most people want, you know?
Yeah, kind of like the OP systems. Like, maybe they'll, like, I don't know, it'd be nice if we got something, yeah, more consistent. Maybe enemies higher level. I don't think that's going to be a thing until, like, OP levels. But it is weird that you can play on Mayhem 3 and get bonus elemental damage, bonus gun damage.
It's all like, multiplicative as well,
yeah.
so you can get up to 2-3 times X damage, and it's just cakewalk.
Yeah, more consistent, especially for the Malawan takedown event. I think that's going to be huge, because, like...
So, raid releases, everyone starts it. There's, what, 13, 14 different difficulty settings, which are all random.
Yeah. And, like, I don't know. So, like, we're both going to be streaming and playing the TLC, and people are going to be posting their runs. It's going to be awesome. But, like, I'm hoping Mayhem 4 is more consistent, because how do you weigh runs against each other if, like, with all the different modifiers? Exactly. It's going to be...
Basically, I've been thinking how to do this, because I managed time trials back in Borderlands 2 for a while.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was wanting to bring it back to 3 once we got, you know, some more runnable content. As for Mayhem, I was thinking either go one of two ways. Completely open, all modifiers allowed, or neutral to your build. But the problem with neutral to your build is sometimes you can include so much that it's just physically impossible.
Interesting.
As much as you want it to be neutral, sometimes it's just impossible.
Yeah. I'm also hoping, like, the Malawan takedown event, like launches, and I can just, like, play it and not, like, sit refreshing my, like, screen, like, for 10 minutes trying to get neutral modifiers.
I think what I'd end up doing is I'd look at them, look for bullet reflection, and if it's not there, go in.
That's fair. minus corrosive damage, minus everything, like, I don't know.
More health.
Oh
It's
yeah,
Mayhem
the
4,
more
so
health
there might
on
be
the
new
invincible
crazy
boss
modifiers,
could
like
be...
health regen on enemies.
Oh yeah, dude, that's really cool, because that could, with Mayhem 4, that could throw some builds for, like,
It would hurt dot builds a lot.
yeah, throw some builds for a twist, depending on what they throw in there.
I think your build will be fine with regen, I'm gonna be honest looking at this gameplay.
I'm a big fan of this build.
it's
very satisfying.
Flame of the Firehawk Krieg-esque.
Yeah, that's what I called the first one. So I did this with so we have shock on the other element, and I called the shock one with the transformer Flame of the Firehawk because it reminded me. But did you ever see the slow hand build on Maya, like the backdraft slow hand build from Borderlands 2? It was a weird build.
Not that particular synergy. I know slow hand was a fantastic weapon, but not with backdraft.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks kind of similar to what happens with the shock. Right. With that, let's move on to the next thing. So we talked a little bit about the Bloody Harvest. We're going to talk more about the Malawan DLC. But I did want to bring up the most recent thing that we got. If you guys haven't seen this, this is really cool. Throwing up the Handsome Jack opportunity thing that's going on. We'll just play it and then we'll talk about it.
Ready to bring down the house, sugar?
So, super dope, super cool. I hope you guys had seen that. It's tiny loud on the volume. Okay. I think we're okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
So pretty crazy. We'll come back to the Malawan takedown because I do have a lot of questions to ask you about that. But real quick, because there's less to talk about here. Do you think this is gonna be like, well, first, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm one of these who tend to reserve their thoughts until they've seen it properly.
Fair enough.
I don't have too many. We obviously see Jack, and that's either Jack or Timothy. Timothy.
Yeah. The doppelganger.
So there's possibilities there. Obviously, riding Butt Stallion statue. Hopefully, we get Butt Stallion. And Hyperion architecture. So some kind of Hyperion city. Any thoughts on that one from you?
I'm just like, so I have a few thoughts on like, so I'm excited that Jack is back. I'm kind of here and there like, oh, I'm so like Jack is the best Borderlands villain. Like
he's great.
He blows.
But
Yeah.
to quote Pitchford himself, Jack is dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm like kind of confused about because I don't know. I think
that makes me think the body double.
You think it's Timothy?
I think I was convinced that we killed Timmy in BL2 with the opportunity double, but apparently that's wrong, and he is still alive. So it's been a few years since we've last heard of Timmy. Anything could have happened to him.
Yeah, I'm hoping it is Timmy just because of like, I don't know. There has been a lot of like speculation around him and what's happened with him. But yeah, I'm happy Jack is back. It would have been cool, or Timothy, whatever you want to call it. We don't know.
It's still the same voice.
Yeah.
Personality-ish, you know.
But with that, like, Gearbox has got the handsome Jack syndrome. Like, they just keep coming.
They can't let him go.
Yeah, they just keep coming back to him, which like I don't have an issue with. I'm super hyped for Handsome Jack. He's my favorite villain ever in any game. But it is funny that like as our first DLC, like, because
it's just immediately back to Jack.
Yeah, immediately back and like.
Nice to have Moxsy involvement because I don't think she's been done like she had a side part in Torg's DLC, but outside of that, she hasn't had her own DLC since BL1. So it's nice to see her again leading the way.
Yeah, and it felt like she had less involvement in this game than she did in like.
Yeah, she had her Electra City mission, which was fun. But
that's true. That was good. I wish we had more areas like Electra City. To be honest,
so fun. And that's what I hope. Like we see the Hyperion architecture there. Opportunity was great, but it was just a little small, and they tried with verticality in the map, they didn't quite nail it. Electra did. So if they have this similar map design with the Hyperion architecture, that I can imagine some mobbing areas in this DLC being very fun because Hyperion architecture is just fun to fight around.
Yeah. It'd be cool if, because Opportunity kind of was a very cool place with a lot of different like baddies in it that kind of reminds me of Electricity. I hope they do.
Yeah, it was a great mobbing area. You can go up onto rooftops somewhat, and as you say, there's lots of different types of health you got to deal with. You got to deal with both strong shields, health, and armor. Hyperion's always a fun fight.
Yeah, we could be getting, we don't know, we could be getting loader bots back with, the Hyperion.
That'd feel like a downgrade after fighting some Maliwan ones.
Yeah, true.
We don't have a clue what the enemy type is. All we've seen is Jack's face.
Yeah.
And some Hyperion-looking buildings, and that's it. Like,
I am.
Bring down the house. Some people have mentioned a casino.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, not a big gambling fan myself, but we'll see how that one plays out.
I'm excited with the Malawan DLC that we are getting some use out of corrosive weapons.
The takedown.
Yeah, the Malawan takedown. I keep calling it like it's not a DLC or an event. It's just like
it's
addition.
It's the raid that we were owed that we never got on launch.
Yeah,
That's it. The raid we never got on launch, and yeah, I use for corrosive because at the minute, corrosive you kind of got to pair it with a flesh melder to get damage out of it. Outside of that, it's just not worth either. But it's not gonna all be robots, but we know robots are involved. So
yeah, for sure. Who you said earlier, I think before we started the podcast, that your Mara is your like main character now. Is that who you're gonna do your first playthrough with?
Yeah. Last week I was doing a stream. I was doing the Slaughter Star on all my characters, just to see how they handled, 10 Smiley One mobbing, how they handled Nogs, and how they handled the bigger robots in there. Because there's a lot of Centurions in that Slaughter Star, which are nasty. And when I was going through on all the characters, it was a challenge, that final round. I was purposely not using grenade modes for it. I was using a different one, so that was a bit of a challenge. When I got to Amara, though, it was just a casual cakewalk. Just because of how much extra time I've put into that save, and I definitely am looking forward to seeing if they can bring a challenge to that Amara.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing the same thing, mobbing on Slaughter Star with different builds, because like realistically there isn't really a better test of like even like corrosive weapons. Like I know it's a Malawan event, but like there aren't that many like very difficult corrosive enemies besides like Genevieve and I guess Katagawa Ball.
I never liked Genevieve testing, moves around too much.
Yeah, and like
I do enjoy Red Rain and Blue Fire, but you gotta do 5 rounds of Slaughter Star to get to them. Yep. And sometimes they don't even spawn.
Oh, really? I haven't had that happen before.
I was testing my Zane run, and they never spawned in my Zane run, so I just did 40 minutes of Slaughter Star. I was like, oi, I couldn't even test my boss damage.
Damn. That's upsetting. So, if you guys haven't seen Lazydata's YouTube, he has a lot of cool like videos doing different like speed kills on different bosses and doing some cool stuff. I watched your health rerouter build with Moze that I thought was pretty.
When you miss the B shield that much.
Yeah. any like things that you're like kind of counting on or that you're going to be using for the raid that you think are going to be any insight into the mind?
In terms of specific gear, well, it's hard to prepare with how little knowledge we've got. We know that there's going to be Malawan tropes because they tease a new soldier type, the elemental shieldy thingy. We know there's going to be robots, big Centurion buggers, which got a lot of health. Not a very accessible crit spot, so that's worth keeping in mind. Mm-hmm. And we know that there's going to be 1 invincible. Now, they've said 3 bosses. Whether that means 3 invincibles or 2 Grave Ward-sized bosses and then 1 invincible, we don't know. But the one that we do know, grounded, he's in range, so I'm thinking Flacker, Cutsman, that kind of thing.
Flacker? Oh, interesting.
Because he's in an arena with you. He's not like Grave Ward, who's away from you. It's a more personal fight, kind of like Traunt, and Flacker kind of eats Traunt, so I was thinking that was a good one. Just in general, don't worry about range. Normally you'd worry about the Cutsman because slow projectile speed. It didn't look like that would be an issue for that one fight.
Yeah.
There's still 2 more bosses we know nothing about, so. Basically, I'm just bringing in guns for all ranges. I've been a huge fan of the COV pistols, the Skexel and the Linoge.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I'm taking both in, Linoge for close range and Skexel for long range. Yeah,
that's a good call. I don't have I'm a very big fan of the Linoge. Not as I like the Skek skill, but not as much as my Linoge. But I don't have a corrosive one. I gotta go.
Gotta get one of those.
Yeah, I gotta go grab one.
Which dedicated drops, hopefully coming soon.
Oh, very true, very true. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It sucks as a person who makes a lot of builds with gear, and people are like, "Oh, I want this. I want to try this. Where do I get this gear?" I'm like, just
well, drop.
Yeah, just mindlessly play the game and hope you get one."
Slaughter shaft speedruns.
Yep, exactly. My answer for the longest time was weapons, slaughter shaft. I mean, still is weapons, slaughter shaft, class mods, grave daddy.
Have you noticed a drop in Grave Lord split recently?
Split?
Have you noticed him giving loot less often as of least recently?
I can't say I have, but I also haven't been nearly as much on the Grave Lord killing train as I was before the spooky event came out.
And I get nothing. So I noticed a lot of people doing Gigamind recently, and I do Agonizer more now.
Gotcha. I was we were killing Gigamind last night on stream, and he was dropping multiple legendaries on every kill, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. So wait a minute. Yeah, and you go to Grave Lord, and it's like 2 blues and a purple. What?
I don't know if this is it's probably just placebo, but I feel like I keep getting good corrosive weapons dropping for me.
I'm gonna go with confirmation bias on that one.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, I obviously corrosive is going to be a big part of the event, but don't. Yeah, that's why.
Gonna be useful for Melee 1 because you got to deal with the shields, but then you shoot the tanks. You don't need 5 for health. You only got to deal with the shield, and you can one-shot them.
My strats are gonna be brainstormers with the corrosive augment is what I'm thinking. Well, the anointment for corrosive damage.
Oh, I see.
On after you reload or after action skill, the bonus mags.
Yeah, brainstorm are always a great.
That's probably I think that's become my favorite weapon.
Yeah, I used it in I noticed they gave the Brainstormer to Zane in Twitch Rivals, and I just kind of asked the Zane player on my team, like, "Hi, can I have
that?" So one of my biggest questions for you, the meat and potatoes of the discussion is: you were at the first playing of Borderlands.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that experience like for I'm sure a lot of people here are all big Borderlands fans that for me that would be a dream come true, one of the coolest things. What was that like?
Well, I didn't see it coming. I got an email one day saying, "Hey, phone call. Hey, you're going to Los Angeles to play Borderlands 3." It's like, "Oh, okay."
That's crazy.
So flying across the world, play a game that you didn't even think would ever exist, that you put thousands of hours into, and then you go into this big room. There's tons of Borderlands 3 art, sculptures, hundreds of other people there, and you sit down at the machine, and it's just there on the main menu.
That's crazy.
And we jumped in on it was the Prometheus section. I played Amara first there, and hey, it was something. It was something. And then playing it again at Gamescom and being able to play the other 2 characters. First gameplay of Flak.
That's
it just kind of happened.
So I know, I believe you said this before we started streaming as well, that you were kind of undecided up to that moment. Did you have a character that you played your first time playing them and you're like this is the character, or was that happening kind of with all of them?
I managed to get good amount of game time on all the characters. I managed to test out all the capstones and stuff whilst I was at Gamescom, so I had a pretty good idea how the characters played. And one thing that I fell in love with instantly, knew this at the Los Angeles event, was Zane's Digiclone. That clicked immediately of how fun that was. Just being able to instantly teleport through a fight and using the clone to aim for you. Just killing enemy. But don't worry about aiming. Just teleport. Clone's already found somebody. Use their aim and just keep shooting. I knew immediately that one was going to be fun, and that definitely had some way into Zane being my first proper playthrough.
And I like something I was kind of curious about. So I don't know if you've seen the video, but I think Baru was the first person to put out a video with like level 50 character who was playing.
See, I got to play level 50, but they wouldn't let me record.
Oh no! Who are you playing level 50?
I got to play Flak, Amara. No, did I play Amara? No, I played Flak, Zane, and Moze at level 50.
That's crazy.
But basically, they didn't want it streamed, and it just wasn't set up at the time for recording. So I just kind of got to play and at level 50, and it was Trial of Instinct Proving Ground.
Yeah,
I think the same one that Baru did.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was first time seeing level 50 gameplay, and it was a lot of fun because I didn't watch Baru's video, so I was going in completely blind.
That's so fun. Was that a different event or the same event that the gameplay was from with like the level 10 Amara and Zane?
That was Gamescom when I played level 50.
That was Gamescom. That's so cool. Was it? This is kind of like a weird question, but like, was it like what you were hoping for when you first played it?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't really. I just kind of wanted a game that wasn't changed too much to feel like a different game.
Yeah.
But you had all these new movements, the mantling, the sliding, just better gunplay in general. We were playing on controller. We couldn't play on keyboard and mouse. And it reminded me of Destiny. And one thing I'll give Destiny is its gunplay. And if the gunplay is reminding me of Destiny, that's a really good sign.
Yeah.
So I instantly just fell in with the game. It's like, yes, I'm happy to say that that always happens when a game, you've been waiting for it for ages, there hasn't been a word, and then it starts coming out and you think, what if it doesn't live up to the hype? That was going away, and I knew that I'd be happy to say, yes, this is Borderlands 3 and I'm happy it is.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That would be really cool. I'm jealous. I hope one day that Borderlands 4 I'll be there. That would be a really really cool event. And you like how many days was it before like you got the email saying, "Hey, we're flying you out," and like actually going? Was it a while, or like was it like kind of out of the blue and then gone?
Well, I didn't know anything was going to happen this year until Hunt at the start. It was about early March, I think, is when they first contacted me. And then, of course, it was the 1st of May was the event. So about a month or two there.
Gotcha. And so with that, that was like the biggest thing that I wanted to ask you. And another thing, so we've touched on it a little bit, but as you said, like this raid is the kind of thing that we were like hoping for at launch would have, like the raid that we've all been like waiting for, asking for, and
more than just a boss. You know,
yeah, and for me, like I was so psyched about Borderlands 3. I'm still like obviously super psyched about it. And I got a lot of my friends, like I convinced a lot of my friends that hadn't tried Borderlands to buy the game. And right now, like out of those people, like I'm the only person of those friends still playing the game. I wanted to ask you how important do you think this Malawan takedown event is for like the game? If it's like not what we were hoping for, does that matter? Or do you think that's gonna be like a big? Do you think a lot of people are going to be coming back, I guess, for this event?
I think a lot of people come back no matter what, just to check it out. raids are definitely still geared towards end game players. However, it's not. I remember even I played Borderlands 2 non-stop after launch. B conference call for Terra. Thought I was invincible. Hyperius came out, and I still had my ass handed to me from Hyperius. Hyperius killed a lot, and I don't expect people who kind of did the first playthrough, got to level 30, went, okay, that's enough, and put it down. I don't think that Takedown will pull them back in. I think that's DLC 1's job.
Mhm.
However, for the people who do like the game and just want more, Takedown is crucial. It's one of the biggest things. So for people who already say, yes, this is the game, I want this, I want more of it, Takedown's pretty big. But for people who just kind of went, yeah, it's all right, and wanted to come back when there's more story stuff, that's DLC 1's job.
Absolutely. Yeah, I that's a great point. And another thing, so with the raid, I feel like there's this kind of like ongoing meme right now with Borderlands that's just like, I get it on my comments on like every one of my videos whenever I post a build that like, oh, this is gonna get nerfed next, or like this is gonna get like this is getting nerfed. And
the nerf combo. Okay.
yeah, in the most recent patch notes that we looked over at the very beginning, there was no nerfs, no weapon balances. Do you think
They
they're
said
kind
after
of
the last one they were gonna slow down with it? You know?
Yeah. Do you think that they're like kind of, because the thing that I'm thinking is like they're done for now because they wanted to balance it out. And then two questions: do you think if like things emerge that are killing like Wotan too fast, they're gonna nerf that or leave it be? And another thing is,
no, I think if they're gonna touch anything, it's mainly gonna be things that are induced by glitches. I think. I mean, even then, Borderlands 2, they didn't fix many glitches.
yeah.
We had merging
Looking
for
at
4
you,
years.
Salvador.
Well, yeah, Salvador's a walking glitch. But no, in terms of actual gear and proper balance changes that aren't glitches, I don't think we'll see for a very long time. I can see some things maybe getting tweaked with how they work. Looking at ties that bind.
Oh, no, we don't talk about ties that bind here. Don't bring it up.
But yeah, they're definitely slowing down, and I think that's both on the reason to say, yeah, it is Borderlands. It's inherently broken. Look at Nisha. And also, people are kind of tired of them. We don't have the bank space to store everything, so if they keep changing it up, we're gonna have to keep dropping items and stuff.
Yeah, dude, the
People
freaking bank
just gotta go
space.
sick of. So I think both a gameplay standpoint and let's not make everybody mad standpoint, they'll be slowing down with that one.
How many mules are you rocking right now?
40-ish.
That's
40,
absurd.
50-ish? Yeah, a bank increase ain't saving me. A bank increase only makes managing them easier.
So I was playing on Xbox before, so I couldn't really make mules as easily unless without running through the beginning of the story to get to Sanctuary every single time. Very happy.
Be really good at the start of the game.
Yeah, really talented. Yeah, being on PC is very nice because I would basically just play, and then if something dropped, I would basically just switch it for something I had. I just kept dropping the gear that I already had and new gear every single time. Yeah, I know. I'd pretty much, and then I would just start like sit like if I had something that dropped, I couldn't drop anything else. I'd just like mail it to someone and hope they would send it
hey,
back.
mail this back to me, please.
Yeah. So excited for the bank space increase. Weird that, like with all the improvements, that wasn't one of them. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many improvements with the game coming out. Like,
yeah, they mentioned in the October patch, they said, yeah, we've got a couple of things here, but what you're looking out for is this will be in the November patch, 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 and well, now the November patch is right around the corner, and
yeah,
we'll have a lot of much requested changes. And
I really like the way they laid that out, as in like they were like,
Actually telling us what's going on.
Yeah, we know what you guys want. We hear you. We don't have it yet, but it's coming. That was a really good way of like, because people were like, why are you nerfing this and that when we still like don't have a place to put our weapons?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll quick list of things that we are getting, or potentially getting, because of course they don't say for sure in case something goes wrong. Bank space, dedicated loot sources, performance stuff, that kind of thing. Is there anything else that they may have mentioned in the last patch notes? I think you got it.
Yeah, let me pull that up.
Oh, Guardian rank toggle. I know that is something that people wanted.
That's huge. That's really nice.
Target dummy. They said sometime in December for that one. I can't wait for that. And pets. How am I forgetting Mr. Chew? Mr. Chew needs to sharpen his teeth and get some damage in him.
Have you played a flak pet build?
Do rack attack triggering terror anoints count?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I have. Rack are my pets, you know. Spider-Man, what's that? No, I haven't made a build for. I barely even touched blue on my flak. Kind of waiting for those changes.
Yeah.
One pet that is very strong though, Zane. Zane's clone does a monster amount of damage.
Really? What have you been using with the what's your thing to put in the clone's hands?
If you want to see your clone delete things, put them right in the face of an enemy with a COV shredder, the launcher. Chuckers are nice, but shredder, the sword blade gun, put that in the clone's hands and he will melt. Because the shredder is very, very powerful, but it eats through your entire heavy ammo in about 2 seconds. Well, thankfully, the clone doesn't need to worry about ammo, so he just keeps shooting. And yeah, he can melt bosses, and I can't wait to see a clone-only kill of Wotan.
Oh, that would be really cool. I hope you do that.
Go nuts, little guy!
One other question before we segue into the questions from the audience and the questions I have had some people message me questions as well on the Discord is so the biggest thing with the Bloody Harvest DLC was, in my opinion, the Terror Anointed weapons.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to keep seeing new anointments on weapons? Would you like that, or do you think it would get to a point where it's just kind of like too overwhelming?
I like the idea of it, but what happens in 3 events times? Are we gonna have 10 Terror Mules, 8 Jolly Mules, 6 Love Mules, or whatever they end up doing? With all these mechanics and stuff, like they're great, but I think eventually it will get overwhelming.
Yeah, that's just because they
mechanics that all work together, and you have to have 8 different versions of the hex because they've all got different, event anoints on them, and I think that would just get a bit too much personally. But we'll see what they do with it. I do enjoy Terror.
I really hope they call it Jolly Anointments if that is a thing.
I
hope they're listening and use that. That's amazing.
Looting elves, where you at?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, like, because in Borderlands 2, there was what were they called? The short headhunter.
Headhunter.
Yeah.
The event thing. See, they're around permanently, but they didn't add any mechanics, so 2 different things there.
Yeah, true. But they did have that themed theme to them of like the holidays.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, let's segue into is there anything else that you want to bring up before we go into questions?
Gearbox, give me takedown now.
Well said, well said. Alright guys, so if you have any questions, you can now just we'll be looking at the chat, type like at Moxsy or at Lazydata. If you have any questions for either of us, let us know. I have some questions. Lazy, you can if anyone has a question, you can grab one and pick it out and read it out and go for it. I'm gonna head over to Discord to see if people have some questions for us.
So you're taking in, your Nova Amara, right, for takedown?
I actually made a build, so I like Nova Amara with either the shock or the radiation, but I like the radiation more, and radiation does a lot less damage to armored enemies. So I made a corrosive build that I called Viper Amara that is gonna use flesh melters with I'm gonna use a crossroads and a brainstormer and hopefully do well and then switch it up. I'm actually thinking I have have you ever played with the Nimbus class mod?
I gave that a go, but I was watching enemies die and that was too slow.
Gotcha. I'm actually thinking of killing the boss with the Nimbus class mod.
Fuck. Alright, do you think they'll give us another ammo regen mechanic? Doesn't include hours of voices running through the sound of the game. Yeah, it's called Mose. Maybe check her out. No, I don't think they will. I think they'll keep that to Mose, I think, because that's her gimmick. She's a skill tree around it, and giving it to all characters is a bit much for her, so...
Yeah, I don't think there'll be more ammo regen. It is already crazy that like characters that have no business regenning ammo, like Amara, can regen ammo with like elemental weapons. That like I don't know. I really like the regen ammo, but it does kind of ruin like Moses' entire skill tree.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Hexnade nerf that changed Mose? I feel like it didn't change Mose at all. The Hex was fine damage-wise. The main thing was a bug that occurred that stopped it triggering Vampire and Means of Destruction and other skills like Sustainment, actually. Now, that was unfortunate, and it meant you couldn't really use the Hexnade for healing. It's still fantastic for damage. But yeah, swapping grenades over to a good purple Atlas and the build just stayed exactly the same. I don't think it changed modes much at all. Definitely didn't change mine.
Yeah, so with the Hexnade, there was an interesting change. What they said was what the Hexnade was doing was unintended. That it was not supposed to do splash damage, and it was doing splash damage. So it wasn't like obviously hurt Moe's. But the way that they said it, like, wasn't like they were intentionally trying to hurt Moe's or the grenade. They were just fixing it, is from what I got out of it. I got a question from the Discord. Kieran says, what are your opinions on the advertisement of billions of guns being in the game but having such little storage? We did touch on that a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
So... the billions of guns thing's great. That's just showing what the part system can do. Obviously, in practice, you're not going to be using a billion guns. I do believe that the storage was just way too small. There's no defending it. And I think that's on a UI performance issue. Because it does crash when you're in your bank sometimes. So, obviously, they might have had some issues with the UI, and they had to make it 50 technical reasons, and at least they've addressed it. But in terms of it only being 50 in launch, I think that was just not okay. It needed to be higher, and thankfully it's going to be higher. And of course you can't do infinite, because that's only going to bring in new issues as well. So.
Yeah. To a certain point.
Moxsy thinks Wotan will probably have a big bubble shield around him with small openings. Do you think the boss will behave in a similar way if it does? What weapons do you think will be good for shooting through the small spaces, i.e. cutsman will penetrate, flak, etc.? So, you saw, like, on the 3-second clip, there was a bubble shield around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the gameplay showed them shooting an AR into the thing's legs. The leg kind of like the whole thing collapsed and the bubble shield went away and they could shoot the rest of the body. So it seems like small non-crit openings do enough damage, cause a trigger, give you an opening to hit the crit, get damage phase, kind of like knocking over Hadorax. Yeah, I can see that happening. In terms of things penetrating the shield, I really hope not. I'd like to not bypass that mechanic.
Oh yeah, I hope not.
I'd be forced into those two weapons that can penetrate it. I would like to, if there's going to be a mechanic there, for it to be there for all weapons. But yeah, you mentioned Kutzman and Flacker, and those are two guns I'm taking in. Going for worlds first? Absolutely not. There's 12 different difficulties or more, actually. You know, 4 mayhem levels, normal mode, true vault mode, and then easy in normal mode. And no, I'm gonna go through it at my own pace. I'm not gonna worry about worlds first, especially since it's gonna be what 30-40 minutes.
Gotcha.
It's not a Destiny 10-hour event. I don't think worlds first will.
I was hoping to do I'm hoping that they drop it because I think something like that would be cool in my opinion. I'm hoping that they drop it at like a time that everyone could play at the same time, like at like.
What if PC players like get in early?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to have like something come out all at the same time and actually do like a. Well, it's first. I don't know exactly how they do it with Destiny, but.
Well, Destiny's easy because that's all on server side.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
People can't sneak in early.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was hoping that maybe it would be something like that, but because that would be a cool like Twitch event, you know, if like everyone started at the same time. I think that would bring a lot of like hype around Borderlands. So it'd be cool if they did it with the Bloody Harvest. There wasn't anything like that, so but it's also like a very different kind of event. I don't think they're gonna have that with this, but it would be pretty dope to like see who could run it the fastest, in my opinion. I just like kind of stuff like that.
Is fadeaway flak the way to go for Mallow and Takedown as a flak player? For my flak, I don't believe he needs fadeaway for the damage at all. Flak's got tons of it, so I'm gonna go in with a rack attack, proc all my anoints and stuff. And action skill and lifesteal damage, that kind of thing. So go with whatever works best for your particular build, of course, but I definitely don't think fadeaway will be needed. Might be useful for the boss itself, but for all the mobbing, rack attack will be fine.
I'm planning on doing a like. If I play flak, I mean I'm gonna play Amara first, but if I do play flak, I think I'm trying to play like a team healing flak kind of build with Gamma
Medic
Burst.
flak.
Yeah, medic flak. I think it'd be fun because I don't know about you, but I mean, I've played Borderlands 3 mostly solo, and I played Borderlands 2 a lot co-op, and I loved all like the like Maya's like rezzing and like the teamwork that you could do with stuff like that. So now that with an event coming out that like actually like hopefully promotes teamwork, I'm hoping to do some
actually scaled for 4 players.
Yeah, I'm hoping to like
hey, do this in co-op, make co-op builds.
Exactly. Yeah, so when I'm gonna do it solo first with like a solo build, but I am hoping to run it with like some friends and stuff, and like do like healing builds and stuff to keep everyone alive. Because I don't know, I like have a tendency to play like medic classes sometimes in like games kind of like Borderlands, so that would be cool. Moxsy, if any of the pearls from Borderlands 2 came back, which aren't already in the game, what would you like to see?
Not Wonderlust.
Trying to think of pearls that aren't in the game yet.
Godfinger.
That could be, I mean, that's a cool sniper. I didn't love it. What else was there?
Thinking Avenger.
Yeah, Avenger could be cool with TDR.
Yeah, sure. Outside of that, we got most of them. We got the Storm, unfortunately. We got the Tunguska. got the Butcher, Bearcat. We got the Carnage in the form of just normal Torque shotties. So we got that thing.
I'm
Yeah,
hoping
we're not missing many.
I'm hoping that the like the things like the what's it called again? I'm actually gonna the rocket launcher that was Maliwan that was ridiculous.
Norfleet.
Norfleet, yes, thank you. Like the Norfleet, the Sandhawk, the Deepa all make returns.
They've been meta for 7 years. Let them die.
I would hope that they wouldn't be as good as they were at Borderlands 2, but it would be cool. It would be cool to hold
they ran a game
Norfleet with
already.
Moe's.
they imagine means of destruction proccing on a Norfleet. Ugh.
Big explosions. That would be fun. Back to Shock Norfleet, but with like Moe's transformer.
With a transformer. Next question. Do you want something similar like Seraph Vendors or a currency eroded to the player by powerful items? I can see. Yeah, if RNG's against you, you can accumulate something to buy the item that you want that RNG's kicking your butt on, but I've always preferred them just dropping from the boss. I never liked chest rooms, and I never liked buying things from the vendor with Seraph Crystals. I would have always preferred them to drop from the boss. However, a special tier of weapons behind the raid boss, absolutely. I brought up an idea a week or so back to reintroduce pearls as the sign drops from each of the raid bosses. So each raid boss has their own pearl, and then like a lower chance to drop any of them. And that's something that I would like to see. Something unique to the raids. So
yeah,
for sure,
that's cool.
like that.
And it would be like a new way to introduce and dedicated drops.
Yeah,
that would be nice. Dedicated drops, man. We're ready for it. We're ready.
What Borderlands 1 Pearl Legendary would you like to see return? Did you play much Borderlands 1?
Not nearly as much as I played Borderlands 2. I played Borderlands 1, like, played Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is the game I have, like, tons and tons of hours on, and then because I played Borderlands 2 so much, I went back and played Borderlands 1. Yeah.
Legendaries that I'd want to see back is, Pestilent Defiler would be nice. A couple of others were fun. The reinvigorated Hellfire. You could bring that back, ignore the BL31 exists. But want to take them all. You've heard me say it, the Orion, please. That thing needs to return to Borderlands. Did you ever see the Orion, Moxsy?
I don't think so.
It was a shock ricochet sniper that just kind of made the world explode. It was fantastic. Had like a 15 mag and it was semi-automatic as well.
That sounds very nice.
It was great. It wasn't too OP, and it was just a fantastic weapon. Is there any class or class tree that you feel are underperforming or not, just not being used? All of Hamara's good. All Zans are great. Moe's, yeah, they're all good. I think the one tree to look at would maybe be blue flak. Like, if you build around it, it's good. But it's hard to implement into a generic build. You either go all in, with Barbaric Yarp, Red Fang class mod, Gamma Burst, that kind of thing, or just don't touch it at all. I think blue flak, if a tree was to be looked at, it'd be blue flak, but even then, it's not terrible.
We got a question from Sweater, Lazydata, Moxsy. What future DLC concepts would you like to see? I would... I don't know what your stance is on this, so I'm, like, torn. So, like, there's, like, Borderlands, and Borderlands at its core is a game that you can play completely alone or with friends, and is a lot of fun both ways. For me, I'm really excited for the Maliwan Takedown because it's going to be promoting multiple players. I think it would be really cool to, like, I don't know. I think this would take away. You tell me what your opinion on. I think it would be cool, but kind of not cool if there was some kind of like crazy event that you could have like 6 players in, and it was just ridiculously hard. I feel like that would crash a lot of computers and PCs and Xboxes. 6 vault hunters
I
all going at it, but it's just like a idea in my head that would be kind of epic.
I'm personally not a fan of increasing the player size. I think 4 is good for characters. If you start adding more, you end up duplicates, which of course isn't an issue gameplay wise until you come across the issue of seeing. I'm sure you are
Oh
aware
yeah,
of visibility in Borderlands 3.
yeah,
Right?
especially with Zane
Uh,
Boy.
Barrier? What's sight? I don't need it. I'm not dying anyway. Uh, yeah, I'm personally not a player idea. I can see why people want it. In terms of future DLC concepts, I'm not a writer, so I'm just gonna say that they did a better job than me, and I won't. I just want to make sure that there's good mobbing areas because that's core replayability, good gameplay, and a good boss in it, and characters that don't want to make you rip your ears off.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'm good.
I'm hoping that we get the like Axton back, Salvador. Like I'm hope that not like back, like I hope they're like NPCs or something, or have some part in future DLCs. Cause I mean, like if they're bringing back like handsome Jack Timothy, like why not have Krieg's revenge to get Maya back or something like that? That could be dope. Ryushi, where's the best place to get build help? I
Ask around, look at videos, and just kind of look at what you've got and try and see synergies.
yeah,
I think is
absolutely.
the best thing.
And I mean, this is kind of like if you're not in the my Discord, Ryushi, there's a lot of people that help out there.
Yeah, streamers' discords are usually a good place.
Yeah, any streamers Discord, usually like a lot of people hanging out in there that could help you out.
Yeah,
Let's see what else we got. Yeah.
I'm always of the opinion of everyone plays differently, so everyone needs a different amount of survivability on their build. So I always perform the best when I'm using my own builds. I when I use somebody else's, I never like it. I always just build mine from the ground up. If I'm dying too much, get more tank in there. Do I need more lifesteal, more passive, that kind of thing? And sit at your respec station. Money's not used for anything else. Feel free to spam respec until you get something you like.
One other thing, you were talking about this earlier, the question about the class mods. There's some class mods right now that are like brilliant, that are great to use, like the Phase Zerker comes to mind for Amara, but there's some that are just like what were they thinking? Like this,
As
like-
in OP
like-
or as in useless?
like the Elementalist on Amara and like the Dragon class mod. I don't know if
Okay.
you have done.
Elementalist to me, I look at it and I go, your purpose is infusion.
Okay, fair.
It's-
Yeah.
That's its only purpose, infusion. Definitely looking at Phase Zerker and Amara's in general are just kind of puzzling. Like Dragon is all about action skill damage, and then it's got a melee bonus on it.
Yeah,
It just kind of seems off.
it's confusing.
How do you like to see them implement dedicated drops? I don't think anything fancy. Just go, hey, dedicated drops in the game, go and find them. I wouldn't like to be given a list. Just say, hey, they're in the game. Good luck. I think it's the best way. Let us figure out where everything drops. There's 200 legendaries. There's God knows how many named enemies. Pass them about.
Yeah, I would hope that there would be dedicated drops from certain enemies and bosses, but that you would still be able to get world drops from them, but that the dedicated drop would have a slightly higher chance of dropping than dropping like a world drop, just so like you're not like farming something and not ever being able to get your weapon. but that you would like
yeah.
would eventually be able to get it. I do like I miss the like farming challenge that was in Borderlands 2.
Yeah, because at the moment you farm for a dedicated drop. You do it on Mayhem 3 for the United Chance, and you end up getting 3 war drops for every assign that you get. That just kind of feels off to me. I'd like them to be bumped up a bit, personally. I know some people mentioned maybe you get more assault rifles on Eden 6 type of deal. Not sure how I feel about region-based assigned drops, just from general mobs, but might be interesting to play around with. Give 3 its own personal spin on the dedicated drop formula to 2, based on regional rather than individual bosses. I don't know. They could do anything, and I'm
Yeah.
happy no matter what. Just don't make it boring and give us a giant list. Let us find it ourselves.
Joe Punchface, I did want to take this question. Moxsy, did you start streaming Borderlands 3 and making YouTube vids thinking it could be something you would do with this level, or was it just a happy accident that you've caught on this quickly? It's a mix of the both. I've been watching Borderlands YouTubers for a very long time, all like the time I played Borderlands 2 and stuff, and I was really excited about Borderlands 3 and making a lot of builds with the build things that came out. And I beat Borderlands 3 in like a day and a half. Like it came out like on a Friday, and by like Saturday night I think I was done with it. I beat the first playthrough. And I was looking for builds for Amara, and like I didn't see anyone.
Of course there were none.
Yeah, yeah, I had done it so fast, and I was like, wow, like I beat the whole campaign without ever dying. I never died, and the build I used I really really liked. So I was like, I'm just gonna post it because I saw a lot of people. I was pretty like active on Reddit. Like I would always refresh our Borderlands builds, like looking at people's builds and like seeing what people were doing or telling people about my build. And I thought my build performed pretty well, so I just posted it, and then it blew up. And cause it blew up, I was like, well, shit, like I got to make more videos. And then I just kept kind of going off of that, and it's been crazy. But like, no, I was not. My plan was not to become a Borderlands YouTuber. Or streamer. It was just I wanted to make this build to show people what it could do, and it kind of blew up out of nowhere. So yeah, that's my story.
Cool. I mean, that's kind of how it all happens. You just kind of post one thing, and then it gets traction, and that's how most people get to where they are in terms of YouTube and Twitch world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just made the right steps, and it worked. Not really a question, but somebody mentioned it. Level cap. Now, I get this question a lot. Do you about level caps coming soon?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
in the Borderlands show, a week or so back, they explicitly said not soon the level cap. I think that's a good thing. I've been farming all this level 50 gear. I'd like to use it. I get the want for potentially more skill trees and level caps and stuff to expand our builds, but let us use some of the stuff that we spent hours and hours and hours farming for. It is coming. It is confirmed. Level cap is coming, just not soon. So I don't expect it for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm hoping there isn't a level cap increase for a while, but I am excited for when it happens. But there's so many things going on and so many added things that are about to happen that, and I mean, like the normal player, like I would say the average player probably has like one level 50 character and is still like gearing them.
That's hard to tell, like what the average Borderlands player is.
True.
Because there's such a range.
Yeah,
of
it's a
what is
huge
possible
range.
with this game.
I'm crazy. I play too much Borderlands.
I know, like 6 level 50s, another 30 saves for experimental builds and mules and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I think I'm in the minority here.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, do we have anything else? Anything else that you want to touch on?
Me personally, I want more Proving Ground stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Proving Grounds. Does anyone else enjoy Proving Grounds and just wish they actually did something loot-wise? They're a lot of fun. time trying to get that sub 5. I want more Proving Grounds.
Yeah, I really like Proving Grounds too. I thought there could have been a lot more with what they've done. Like one, like the loot isn't there for doing it, even in like this crazy short amount of time. But there also isn't like an incentive of like, or like a goal that you could like really be like reaching for by doing them. Besides like, look, I did it.
Yeah, it was there, I think, as kind of a bridge to endgame, because the loot's not affected by Mayhem. So it's good if you get to level 50, you're not quite ready for Mayhem 3, but you do want some purples and basic legendaries. That's when Proving Grounds is good. Problem is most people skip that phase. So it just ends up getting skipped. So I think just bringing it into the endgame with, Shaft and that lot and just say, hey, 4 guaranteed legendaries if you get all 4 checkmarks.
Did you work your way up to Mayhem 3, or did you just like yeet right to it?
Zane, I played around with Mayhem. Zane was my first level 50. I checked out Mayhem 1 because I thought it was like RP levels and I have to earn the others. So I checked out Mayhem 1, so okay, this is alright. Leveled up my flak, and then I realized, I can jump into Mayhem 3. I jumped into Mayhem 3, and, well, I was launched flak, so I kind of ate it.
Yeah.
I was geared. Well, rest is history, but yeah, typically I jump straight into Mayhem 3 and I'll bash my head against the wall for a bit and I'll get one, good anoint and that'll carry me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I worked my way up to it. I was scared, honestly, at first to play Mayhem 3.
It's all more difficult.
Because I was like, at the time that I was doing like Mayhem 1 and 2, like I'm pretty sure I still hadn't died yet. So I was very afraid of Mayhem 3, and Mayhem 3 was my first time playing it. I thought it was really difficult and crazy. I was like, how am I supposed to be able to do this? And then got some better gear and some adjustments, and then we were good from there.
When I got there on my Amara, I was like, okay, I jumped into Mayhem 3. I'd leveled with a melee Amara. I got slapped. Like back to the drawing board with the build then. That didn't work. I walked into trial survival against the spider ants. It just worked. Like, okay. I see how it is.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad that Mayhem 3 was that. I felt like a pretty solid step.
As much as like now we're built up and we can just kind of eat it like it's nothing, it was definitely more than what BL2 and Preseason gave us.
Oh, for sure.
Launch, like, people compare, current Borderlands 2 to current Borderlands 3, and I think that's unfair. Launch BL2 compared to launch BL3, BL3 blows it out of the water. I'm really happy with, the state of this game on launch. Little sad there's no range, no raid, main downside, but otherwise, yeah. I can, after these 4 main DLCs that are planned, and then plus anything else, they didn't plan to do much with Borderlands 2, and look where we are now, 10 DLCs later.
10 DLCs later.
It's 10. There's 5 headhunters and 5 story DLCs. And
damn.
Did you start
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. So I'm excited to what the future of Borderlands 3 brings us.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's only gonna get better. The base game is great, and it's only gonna get better. And I'm super excited for it.
Cool.
All right. With that, I think we'll be ending the podcast. Lazy, if you want to say like goodbye or your outro or whatever.
I thank you for listening this far. It's just for if you've been in the chat, asking the questions, thank you so much. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on the podcast. It's been great. I always like talking Borderlands. I can talk Borderlands for hours, so
absolutely.
And you can find me at twitch.tv Lazydata, youtube.com Lazydata, the usual stuff and all of that. Streamer Malarkins, and you can find me all there, and we do a lot of Borderlands. I'm mainly on the I just rush to endgame, do speedrunny type things, go for optimal play. Not super casual friendly. I do like helping people, but I am very much a Borderlands speedrunner for endgame, so that's the kind of content that I offer. And yeah, thank you for inviting me on. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely great to have you on the show. Super awesome talking to you about all of the things going on, and especially your time being one of the first people to play Borderlands. Really appreciate you having you on the show. Once again, guys, this was Moxsy's Bar. We do this every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. Today we were fortunate enough to have a great guest. Lazydata, this will be on YouTube. I am trying to get this on Spotify. It seems a little weird, but hopefully we'll have this on Spotify as well. Lazydata's, all of his stuff will be in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We are going to be continuing streaming. Lazy, if you gotta go, I know it's late there for you, or if you want to hang around, totally up to you. But I will be continuing streaming. We'll hop back in the Borderlands and keep playing. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. Twitch stream, you guys were great. Appreciate everyone, and peace.
See ya.